Hello, welcome to the Evolve Vets podcast.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Bethany. Together, let's stop revolving and start evolving. Hello, and welcome to the Evolve Vets podcast.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're coming to you live from our favorite place in the entire world,
Hawaii.
So we are on the island of Kauai, and we're here for a vet vacation CE where we're learning about internal medicine and emergency and critical care. And there are like at least 100 other veterinary professionals here. It's huge. I was not expecting that many people.
Me either. It's been such a blast. We're excited to get to know more people and come to you live from our favorite place in the world.
So this episode is an IRL. For those of you who are new listeners, an IRL is in real life. It's where Bethany and I get together and we reflect on the past few weeks of what's been going on within the Evolved Vets membership. And so this summer has been really special. It's our very first summer evolution. And what that is a program where everyone who is in our membership is going through about an 8-week course. And oftentimes it takes a lot longer than 8 weeks. So a lot of people are still finishing up because it is very intensive. It requires a lot of focus, time, energy, patience, emotional healing and regulation, because you are making big changes during this time. And so we have the women go through it together, and we have a coaching call every month where we talk through what's been going on with different women in their lives. And when we talk about it together, it normalizes quite a bit of what we're going through. And then we can also be examples for each other when we take a leap of faith, or when we say no to something, or we make a change. And so we will be today in our episode reflecting on what we've learned in the summer evolution. It's actually triggered quite a bit within Bethany and I to shake things up and make some real changes. We're very excited to share them with you, and we've got a great episode.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So yes, we'd love to share all about our experiences and the things that we're working through as we go through the summer evolution with our members. And let's kind of high level talk about what that process is like and why people join. So definitely one of the top things that we see is people are craving this community of a safe place for women to uplift and support each other. And it's hard to find in veterinary medicine. It's hard to find really great mentors as women in leadership for the veterinary space. And so we're able to find those people and attract them to our membership, and then provide that mentorship and coaching for maybe younger veterinarians that aspire to be that one day too.
It's so special because we have new grads, and then we also have veterinarians who've been practicing for 10, 15, 20 years. And when you get them all on a call together, it's really expansive to see somebody who has made it to one of the highest levels in their career, but then also to be talking to somebody who just graduated vet school and their excitement is palpable. And so it makes me personally really proud to be in the career that being a veterinarian is such a badass career. And those are great reminders to reflect and be like, wow, we're really lucky to be in this profession. And let's talk about the positive things. And we also talk about the hard things. And, we're coming with solutions and trying to support each other and change it, because vet med is predominantly women. So in the summer evolution, the work that we're specifically going through now is all about authenticity and alignment. So it's about identifying the values that are important to you. It is about being able to take those values and say no to things that are not aligned. And then it's making changes in your life to support spending more time on those values.
As you start to understand what your values are, then you start to go through this process of shedding things that are not aligned. And with that comes up different types of tests and challenges, and maybe other people's opinions that you have to work through. And so it is a true healing process and a deeper understanding of who you are. And then also this empowerment on the other side of when you're able to stand up for who that person is and who you truly are deep down. So that's the progress that we see high level from the evolution.
And now, since this is an IRL, we're going to give it to you real. Let's start with our ritual.
Let's start with the ritual.
Can you tell people about what is a ritual? why do we do it in Hawaii? How often do we do it? Let's just give people a little background.
Absolutely. Anna and I do every 6 months a ritual. It's focused on different things. Sometimes it's shedding, like letting go of things that we are not attached to anymore, don't feel aligned. And then sometimes we're really calling new things in, and sometimes it's both. And it just depends what season of life you're in and where you're at in your journey as to how you show up to those. So, Anna and I, when we have our rituals, we like to prepare mentally. Like, what are our intentions? What are we focusing on this season? What are the things that we're trying to get aligned with? And then we'll kind of go around and build this anticipation for the ritual. So we'll decide, like, okay, like let's use crystals this time, or maybe like let's do a painting and let's go buy painting supplies because we want to express ourselves through painting. Or maybe we'll go and like buy some new journals because we really want to journal for this one. And really, it's about being intentional, writing down your goals for the upcoming 6 months, and then releasing the things that you've learned, or like honestly, like fear sometimes, especially for me, like sometimes fear comes up. So letting go of those fears, letting go of control, whatever it is that's coming up for you, and being able to say, like, I'm pushing this to the side to clear space for the thing that I need most. And whatever is coming next, I know I need to let go of this in order to bring the next thing in. And so usually we'll find a beach or somewhere that feels really magnetic. Every time I think we upgrade our place a little bit, but it usually centers around some beach-like location. And we usually love to watch the sunset. We will maybe light a candle and go through the ritual of asking different journal prompt type questions, as well as like holding our crystals, staging things out if it doesn't feel appropriate. And then just being open and vulnerable and honest with each other about like what we want as evolved besties and how we want to help hold each other accountable for the things that we're going through, and like where it's hard and where life just gets complicated and you need somebody to cheer you on and say, like, hey, this can be really easy, or hey, like, I love you through this and this is great, like I'm proud of you for, taking the leap or doing the thing that's hard. So that's a little bit of like a high level of what our rituals usually look like.
That's a great description. And we choose to do rituals. It might seem a little bit woo woo to do rituals, but we choose to do them because it's symbolic. It's something that stirs up emotions. So it can make the whole experience a little bit more powerful and sticky long term. Because you can go in your journal and write down, I want to let go of my need to control, or I want to let go of my fear of public speaking, and you can do that and it's helpful. But if you write that down and then you have like a tiki torch and a candle and sage and you're burning it, or you have a picture that expresses something that you want to let go of and release to open up space in your life, then it's a little more special if you're taking the time to be thoughtful about that. And then likewise, if you're calling something in, it can be really helpful to have something that is maybe a painting or a picture that inspires you, or a crystal, or Palo Santo for us, the smells make it a little more sensory. And so, sure, it's woo woo, but don't knock it till you try it. I'd highly recommend it. It's been powerful for us. So, for this ritual that we just did, we are in Kauai. We went to this really awesome store called Kauai Juice Co. Big fan, 10 out of 10 recommend. If you're in Kauai, go to Kauai Juice Co. And they have these little kits that are basically for rituals. So we're not the only people who do this. And we're not alone. And the kits, this kit that we chose was called Abundance. So specifically, everything in the little kit was to call in abundance. And so there was sage in there for clearing, and there's instructions. So it's like, write down what you don't like this candle, and then write down what you want to clear, and then have sage and like sage all around your area and yourself, and then release it. And then you have your little crystal there that represents abundance. And we have Palo Santo. And so we wrote down what we want to call in. And then we had the Palo Santo and we said it out loud. And so it was really special. And the timeline we're looking at is probably like 6 months to a year of those big things that we're calling in. And at the end of it, it feels so special. And we do take the time to reflect on previous rituals that we've done. So we do them about every 6 months. And we get the goosebumps when we think back to, oh my God, 6 months ago. So that was January
Yeah.
when we did our last one. And we were calling in big things. So
Starting
talk
the
about-
evolve vets.
yeah, starting the evolve vets. We just started this podcast in February. And so we're so proud that we've been able to take that leap. That was a scary thing. And I think if we weren't really intentional about what we wanted to do, and if we didn't have each other as accountability buddies, that might not happen. So I'd really encourage everyone to try this and try it out if you have somebody who you can do that with and have that accountability with. So we called in the Evolved Vets. That was a huge one.
Let's see what else we've called in from our previous rituals.
Yeah. So, okay. So from previous rituals, I remember you. So we started doing, and hopefully you don't mind if I share.
Yeah, go ahead.
We started these rituals a few years ago. And the first one was really big and emotional. So we like had these pictures from our past. We did a lot of journaling, and these were blocks that we'd been working through for a lot of time, like think therapy, like years of coaching. And we wrote those things down, talked about them. It was long, and we like were trying to like burn these pictures on the beach, and it's very messy and
little dangerous maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. And I remember that you were calling in love, and you were letting go of previous relationships and previous beliefs that were just not serving you. They were keeping you in fear.
Yeah.
And so it was love. You were very clearly calling that in. And it was really special this past time last night when we did our ritual, because you have someone who you're infatuated with.
I know.
And it's early. And I know like you don't mind if like we talk about him. Because he's so sweet and it's just easy. It feels easy.
Yeah.
And so to see the progress that you've made there, and to really release old blocks and old fears, and there's still a little bit of that there, but you're a completely different person, and your past doesn't have to dictate your future. And for me, seeing that and just seeing the power of that over time is really cool.
Yeah, it's so special. It's so special. Yeah. So I guess that's what we previously manifested. Like Anna said, it's early days, but it seems to be going well and easy and fun. And so I'm holding on to that feeling for now.
Love it. So, okay, this will segue us into our summer evolution, where we can go through in depth, because we had the ritual and that was very like ceremonial, but we've really been working on this very intentionally, like specifically authenticity and living in alignment for the past, what do you think, 8 weeks now, probably maybe 7-8 weeks. And through with the summer evolution and the course that we take everybody through. So let's talk about what we've learned and where we're at, the things that we can call manifestation, or we can call it things that we accomplished or succeeded in, leaps of faith that we took. Let's talk through those.
Let's do it. Okay. So throughout the evolution, we focused a lot on first identifying who you are, which we've had a few episodes on that you guys have already listened to. And so we won't harp a ton on that, but then it kind of goes into this flow of understanding boundaries, and then being able to know your own self-worth. So when you're showing up with, I am worthy of, and then insert whatever it is you're working through, and being able to really use that as a way to believe in yourself and have others around you believe in you too. And for us, from this perspective, I think some of the things I've been working through as I go through the challenge is really reflecting on my authentic values, which is adventure, the traveling component, the innovation, the growth, all of those really fun things that make me who I am, spontaneity, all those things. And then community. So like sharing types like this, like our ritual, and then the people that I love, friends, family, like dating, romantic love, which you guys know I've been working on this year intentionally as well. And, was able to like kind of express that it's going good, which is so fun. And then, of course, impact. So impacting you guys, helping y'all through your journey. So that way you can live the lives that you really want. And then the last is luxury. So treating myself to things that I really find valuable. And so as I've reflected on those values and really taking a moment to understand Oh, wow. Okay. In January, when we did our last round of rituals, the top priority for me was calling in love. I had to work through in previous years, like letting go some of the traumas that came with my previous love lives, and then really working through and making sure I was whole. And then this year, I feel like really taking that dating experience to the next level and diving in kind of like head first and like taking a jump off the cliff and doing things that felt scary, but that I was really knew that I needed to do if I wanted love to like come into my life. And for me, that was like a top value. And as I've gone through this summer evolution or this summer reflection, really, it's how do I start moving that value of community higher on my list? And maybe my impact value goes down a little bit because I, for the last 5.5 years, been dedicating my life to nothing but work. And that's been my top priority, get the promotion, be successful, win the awards, like do all the things. And for the first time in a while, I've really shifted from a work focused mindset to really how do I prioritize my community mindset. And that's been very revealing for me throughout this evolution process, because it's like obviously paying off, so that's one thing. Yeah. So, how do you shift away from the things that are no longer aligned? If your role or your job isn't feeling like community based, then find one that does, and so like another big change that I have coming up is I'm transitioning out of my market owner role at Veg and into a field medical director role, which is really exciting. um, I loved learning the business side. It was very fun. It was very amazing experience, had great performance, have a great team, built, innovated a lot. And now I think I'm tired of the energy that it takes to be on call 24/7, to always be available for people. And if I really want my community value to shift up, I need to let go of that role in order to show up better for my dating relationships, my friendships, the evolved vets, all the things that I like need to have a little bit higher on my priority list right now. So that's been my series of like setting boundaries, understanding self-compassion, self-worth, realigning with my own personal values has been this ebb and flow throughout the summer of like, how do we get one step closer to the Bethany that lives on a bungalow, on the beach? Like, because that's dream destination Bethany. And so how do I take decisions I make today, am I making them from the Bethany that's living on the beach?
I love this.
Isn't this
Okay.
great?
Speaking of the beach, can you share with all the listeners the story of what you manifested via going to Bora Bora? I know you shared about Bora Bora, but let's just paint the whole scene because there's new information.
There's new information. Retrospective is huge. So yeah, I told you all that I went to Bora Bora for my 33rd birthday. There was this precedent in my mind that I needed to wait until I met my soulmate, or it was my honeymoon, or something special, is what I would tell myself in my head. And then I just decided, a few days before my birthday, like, screw it. I'm going to go by myself. I'm going to do this epic solo trip because my dream day has always been living in the beach bungalow over the ocean, journaling, doing yoga on the deck, jumping in, snorkeling, and having that phenomenal day. And I got to live out that day on June 1st, which was epic. And I like woke up that morning. I like was journaling about it. I had this epic moment where I just like cried a little bit. And it was very special to me that day. And then literally the next day, the guy that I'm dating and we like matched on Hinge. So I think chills. Yeah. So I think the universe was just like, hey, you're coming into your power and your worth. Like, you understand that you're worthy all by yourself. And here's this nice little reward.
I love that. I love that. And I think also your coach has played a big role in that too.
Huge.
Because if you were not working with your coach, I don't know that you would have gone to Bora Bora.
I would not have gone to Bora Bora because we had a session like several months before this experience where she asked me like, well, what if you don't meet your soulmate like until you're 41 like I did? And I cried. Like, I was legitimately sad that would be something that I might have to experience. And She didn't do it at the time. She's very sensitive. I love her. But several weeks later, she was like, I caught you a few weeks ago. And I was like, caught me? What does that mean? Like, what did I do? And she's like, the moment you started to cry, you didn't believe you were worthy. Like, you didn't believe it was coming. You were in lack. And I was like, oh my goodness. Am I in lack? I thought I was like so ready and so healed. And here I was like crying that it might take a little bit longer. Cause she's like, if you were in abundance, you'd be willing to wait until 45 to meet the person that you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with, because the soul connection would be so powerful and you would be so worthy of doing things on your own. And I think that meeting and that lesson with my coach was one of those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I need to reevaluate everything. Where else am I in lack? And I don't even recognize it. And so, Anna's been a great accountability buddy. We're constantly talking now, okay, is this coming from lack? Like, are we flowing right now? Are we forcing this? So like, should we try something different? Can we pivot? But this was like the very first like major life flash for me where I truly recognized that I was in lack around dating and I had not experienced that. And I didn't think that I was. And so it was a very incredible wake up call that led me to say, oh, well, maybe I'm in lack about this whole let's go to Bora Bora thing. And so then I just did it. And yeah, it's fun to think about the, I guess, like good sides and the magic that comes from believing in that.
Right. And so I recently wrote an article on uncertainty versus possibility, and uncertainty comes from lack and possibility comes from abundance. And so think of it as maybe the glass is half empty, the glass is half full. And because you switched to the glass is half full, more abundance, more what is possible, you could have never predicted that this would happen. Like you enjoyed Bora Bora by itself, and that was fantastic. But the fact that you finally did that one thing that you were always waiting on, and then it opened the door to something beyond your wildest dreams is
Crazy.
Yeah, those are things that we can't control, we can't plan for. You just have to trust and you have to take the next right step. So I'm proud of you.
Thanks, sister. Me too. And Anna, you've been manifesting quite a bit lately. And so I want to hear, how's your summer evolution been going? And what has your process been like throughout all the different weeks and the ups and downs throughout our summer evolution?
So I'm on sabbatical.
Ah!
Sabbatical. What is a sabbatical? We can call it a sabbatical. We can call it a break. We can call it a mini retirement, a getaway, in the in-between time, whatever we want to call it. But I am choosing to call it a sabbatical. I've done a lot of research on sabbaticals now. And yeah, I'm on sabbatical for 3 months. So what that means is I'm taking 3 months away from my day-to-day. My day-to-day is being an emergency veterinarian. And so I'm taking a break specifically from that. And so I'm spending a lot of my time here in Hawaii, and then I'll be going to Europe later in, I don't know, 2 months. And so we're spending the time here. It's me, my husband, and our cat, and we will be together the whole time. And then we have visitors in and out. But the reason that I wanted to take a sabbatical is because I've been getting this urge for quite a long time now to just pause and reevaluate and reflect on my life, how I'm spending my time, how I'm managing my energy. I, in the past, have been very go, 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 always traveling, always working, and very like overachiever, high strung. And I want a break to slow down and pause because I do a lot of reading and talk to a lot of people. And when I get advice from people who are older, or maybe have regrets when they're older, it's a lot of it is I worked too much, or I didn't say what I needed to say to the people that I love, or I wasn't present with the people who I love. And I know that I haven't been perfect by any means at that. I would get a lot of comments of like, oh, she's working again, or oh, I didn't even, know she was here. She's just working, or she's always on a Zoom call, or oh, I gotta run because I have a call. And I'd always work, work, work. And so I needed a reset, just like if we're tired, we take naps. If we're working out hard, we take breaks in between sets. Uh, Rest is good. And so for me, this sabbatical is about rest and reconnecting with myself. And there's a lot of different reasons why people can take sabbaticals. And if that's something that's interesting to you, please reach out to me. I did start a Substack, which I'll talk about in a minute if anybody is interested in why you should take a sabbatical or how to take a sabbatical. But for me, what I'm really proud of is just being able to make it happen because at my job, I work at Veg full time, it's not a benefit. And it's not something that I could have done in my previous role as chief of staff to the CEO. I had a big responsibility there. And when I was making the transition from chief of staff and working in New York to being full time on floor as an ER veterinarian, I was really back and forth on like, do I want to be at one location or do I want to be on the travel team? And so I used my values to kind of guide that decision of like, oh, I'm like a traveler at heart and I love traveling and I love the vibe of the team. And with the addition that I started to get this interest in taking a sabbatical, and so it's like, how am I gonna how am I gonna make that happen? And you have to consider responsibility. If you're taking a sabbatical, you can't just be like, peace, like someone else to deal with my responsibilities. But
Yeah.
when I'm on the travel team, there's not a team that's depending on me. And so I can pick up and leave. And when I do my normal job, I'm supplemental. I'm coming in if somebody's on a maternity leave or if somebody's on vacation, I can pick up a shift here or there. So I'm not putting anybody in a huge pickle. And so I was able to do that. And separately, Ashley and I have been saving up for this. So I don't have an income during this time. And we saved up for it. So it's different trade-offs that we made to be able to afford this. And it's been totally worth it. It is only my second week right now. And so this is something that I didn't think was even possible maybe, a year ago. I had no idea how it would happen. It was so messy. Bethany, was a good thought partner for me to talk it out. And overall, people have been really supportive. Like I had fears that were coming up during the challenge that people would judge and say, oh, she's, not serious about her work, or she is self-indulgent, or she's lazy, whatever the case may be, getting judgment from that. And I think that's fair. It's not everyone's value to take a break like this, but it's something that's really important to me. And what's been very special is that since I started writing about this, I've had just an outpouring of people reaching out saying, it's really inspiring that you're doing this, or I want to do this, or I'm going to do this. And so overall, it's very net positive. And I did it for me, but I'm glad that it can help other people because there's a lot of burnout in vet med. And I do think that you can catch it and kind of like tame that beast before it gets totally out of control. I was not in burnout. I was just tired and I needed a pause.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool. And this summer evolution has helped me get the confidence and conviction to be able to do this. And so on the other side of the evolution, it's really cool to see that I'm here. It doesn't even feel real. My nervous system's still adjusting.
Yeah. Oh, that makes so much sense. And I know earlier we were talking about our very first ritual several years ago. And it's so cool to see because that's exactly what you were giving up was like, I'm feeling rushed, like the need to be good and good based on other people's judgments and trying to like let go of that. And so to be here, several years later where you're like, I don't know, people might judge that I'm going on this thing, but it's true to me. And so I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. And the follow through and the magic on the other side of that is that there are so many people that are like, wow, I need a small break too. And how do I do that? And you're guiding them to like show that it's true and show them like, hey, you can take a small break and you can still be a veterinarian and love your job. You can have both. And it's a good thing to have both. Like it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to take vacation. You need to enjoy your life. And if you're not sure how to spend your money or your time, we recommend going back to the money podcast that we just launched this week because it really does like align how you spend your time and your money with your values. And that's an important part to living fulfilled instead of what other people want. In the past, maybe we were living more based on other people's expectations or checking a box. And now we're on this side of like, okay, there might be judgment. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're listening to this going, I'm never going to find love, or I could never take a sabbatical, that was us. We were in your
Totally.
shoes. We felt that way, but there is a path forward and you can do it. You can. And so if anyone's feeling that way, reach out to us. We want to help people and we want to highlight examples of whether that's ourselves or other people doing things that are a little bit outside of the norm, because our entire goal here is to elevate women in vet med and help people to realize how amazing this career is. And it's a combination of both changing our mindset and having a reframe, but also putting into place real boundaries and taking real actions that can help make the profession more sustainable.
And I'll add to that too. It's also us coaching people so that way they can have this accountability and the level of enlightenment that we have, and us say like, hey, are you in lack right now? Like those moments of having a coach of being just so upfront and forward, and they know, your energy when you're feeling positive, when you're feeling in flow, they can catch on to those things really quickly. And then when you're not, they can also be like, hey, something seems wrong here. Like, what are you doing? You need to change. Like, change your mindset. What are you thinking?
Right. It's a huge part because you would not have gone to Bora Bora or made this career change without your coach calling you out and holding you accountable.
Totally.
I would not be on sabbatical if it were not for my coach, Dylan, who was holding me accountable to taking a sabbatical and saying, no, girl, like this is possible for you.
Yeah.
So that's true. The power of a coach and having accountability is, it's what actually moves the needle.
Yeah.
We can talk about it all that we want, but it's having that accountability that
and I think in general people don't notice if you're feeling negative or maybe your mindset is in a lack mindset. You're not going to be able to catch it because your brain is programmed to do that naturally, right? So when you have somebody who can just listen from an outside perspective, they can say like, hey, Anna, are we in the victim mindset right now? Or like, how does it feel when I call that out? Like, are you okay? Is that something that we can talk through? Or like, how do you transition into like an empowered mindset? And what's that process look like for you? And so it's that back and forth, that accountability, that conversation that makes it special.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so back to the summer evolution, the second thing that I really manifested out of this challenge was writing. I have also been getting this intuitive hit to start writing and to write daily. I've always journaled, but I have not written and shared it publicly. And it's also been really challenging to find the time. And so I said, okay, if I'm going to be on this sabbatical, that this like self-expression is going to be one of my top 3 priorities. And my other priorities are not feeling rushed and enjoying time with Ashley. It's like reconnecting as husband and wife. And so this like self-expression is through writing. So the first day of my sabbatical, I was on the airplane. I'm like, I guess I'll do it on Substack. Everyone seems to be getting on Substack. So got on Substack, made a post about why I'm a veterinarian taking a sabbatical, and then just started writing from there. So you'll find everything from why to take a sabbatical, how to take a sabbatical, to just like philosophical ponderings and writings and things that I have been inspired by or learned or am learning that I want to share with others. And so that's my experience. I'm writing and publishing 5 days a week right now. That feels really good. It's something that comes from flow and I want to do it. And it feels like that's hitting my value of inspiring work. And so I'm going to continue to do that. And I'll stop whenever it's not feeling inspiring.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's so inspirational. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and your lessons with the world and following through on that ping to share. You're already having so many amazing people reach out, not only from the veterinarian side, but from the veterinary leader side. And it's relatable to everybody, whether you're a man, woman, or, inspired to be a veterinarian one day or already a veterinarian or just in the veterinary profession. It makes an impact to everybody. So I'm proud of you for doing it.
Well, thank you. And it's a good point, just like with your Bora Bora trip, that once you do that aligned thing, the door to possibility opens up. And so I've had lots of opportunities come just from starting to post a week and a half ago. So it's really cool when we start to reflect on that. So I hope you all can have these same experiences, and we're seeing it inside of our membership as well with our members, like really cool stories that we'll share. We're gonna give them a little more time to go
Yeah.
through the evolution, but really, really amazing up levels that we're seeing. All right. If any of this has felt inspiring to you, or you're getting the urge to jumpstart the second half of your year and do something that has been weighing on you or in the back of your mind, then join our membership. Reach out to us. We have a membership for women that's you have access to our courses. There's race approval. You can use your CE allowance to be able to purchase that, and you'll get credits towards your license. And you have access to our community of women. And so you can join through the membership. Alternatively, you can sign up for coaching with us one-on-one. We have an application form on our website, and we love to be able to help people and make an impact and have that accountability one-on-one. And we're starting to build that program more and more. So we'll have more updates for you in the future, but the course will remain open. You guys can access it. You can do amazing things from July to December. So if you're interested, reach out to us. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Together, let's stop revolving
And start evolving.
Good job.
Until next time, let's stop revolving and start evolving.